Hey, Xiaomi here. So today I wanted to do another book on haul kind of video just because recently I cleaned out all my shelves and I got rid of books that I knew that last time I said I'm gonna hold on to these books because I'm gonna read them. If I don't read them in a year, then I'll get rid of them. A year has passed, have not read these books. Some of these books I've read and I know that one, they infuriated me, two, I do not plan on rereading these books, so I'm going to be bestowing them upon somebody else that would actually want to reread these books or actually read them and enjoy them. So without further ado, let's get into this video. Right now it's around 6 in the afternoon, so if the light starts to dim a little bit more, I'm gonna try and do this as fast as I can because I don't think I'm gonna over elaborate on these books. I'm just gonna tell you why I'm getting rid of them, and some I might have more than a few things to say, some I might just say I don't know, probably covered by. But the first book that I really want to get into is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. The one that I can say that I really did love about Morgan Matson was The Unexpected Everything. I do plan on rereading that one, but this one I thought it's a cute contemporary. It's great to read during the summertime because it gives you those summertime vibes, but I know that I'm never ever going to be reading this again, and obviously this is stiff paperback and that means that you break the spine. I don't like that kind of format, so if I ever decide to actually like pick it up again, then I'll pick it up like in hardcover, or if there's floppy or paperback than this one, then I'll pick it up. It was a good one. I'm not letting it go because I hated it. It's just, you know, I'm gonna give it to somebody else so they can actually enjoy it. The next one that I'm going to be speaking about is Beast Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi. I have a lot of things to say about this one because even though I do enjoy the premise of this book, the overall execution for me fell flat. There are a lot of things that were brought to the table and that quickly swept under the rug, and then at the end it's like they wanted to give this va-va-boom and I'm just like, what you doing, you know? But I thought that, like I said, it has an interesting premise because here you have, if I'm not mistaken, they're called Akai, and basically they're sin eaters, and in some places they are revered, in other places they are shamed, and you know, they're shunned upon. And I wanted to know why was it that they were treated in this specific place as they were, because he draws a lot of influence from, I don't know if it's West African cultures or, you know, his own culture. He draws references from his own cultures, and I would have loved the glossary in this book because it would have developed the world a lot more. But for me, it was just like, I'm trying to guess here what you're trying to do, and that's not supposed to be plausible because, like, this is your fantasy world. Elaborate it as much as you want, make it as complex as you want, but actually give me that information. And I felt like that information just wasn't here. It didn't captivate me as much as I wanted it to. And there was also another character that was introduced that I kind of liked her, and then all of a sudden something happened, and there's this freaking like sense of insta love, and I'm like, what is happening here, man? And I was just like, I don't know, there were a lot of moments that were boring, and I just like, I didn't get it. I don't know why, because like I had such high hopes for this book, and then all of a sudden it just crumbled to pieces, and me along with it, because my soul was hurting, like, honestly. But okay, wait, my dog wants to pass. For the next book that I'm going to be mentioning is Leon the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. I have many and one issues with this book just because there are a lot of things that were presented that kind of like, okay, how do I say this without giving spoilers? There were just some things that characters were really treated wrong. They didn't deserve a lot of things that happened to them. Trying to impose on somebody else's sexuality is not something I root for or agree with. A person's coming out is their own God-given right to do it whenever the fuck they feel like it. And for you to try to impose on that person, it was just annoying and infuriating to read about. And there were a lot of moments that had me like that. I swear that if it wasn't for like Simon and somebody else's moments, I'm not gonna say because of spoilers, it's basically what salvaged this book for me, because I was like, oh my god, that moment is so cute and I really like this moment. But aside from the fact that when Leah was, you know, left alone in the story, I couldn't actually connect with her, and I really wanted to, because like I kind of enjoyed her in Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and I wanted to know more about her. But like for me, honestly, I felt like this was more of a fanfic, and this is something that I have to say. I felt like Becky Albertalli was trying to like cement more of the things that were mentioned in the movie than actually continue in her own storyline that she had created with Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda. And I think that this was more trying to give facts and details to the things that transpired in the movie, and I was just really annoyed by those things, especially of the misleading, the miscommunication, the things that were happening to other characters that honestly did not deserve it. And also, like I mentioned, that scene that happened that, you know, well, I'm not gonna mention it because of spoilers, but like it really did infuriate me. And I don't know, it was just, there's a lot of things in here that just I couldn't. So I know that I'm never going to be rereading this, so I'm gonna pass it on to somebody who's gonna actually enjoy it. The next one that I told myself, I'm not gonna get rid of you last year because I plan on rereading you. Or not rereading you, I plan on reading you. Yeah, right. That was The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. I told myself, yep, you're gonna read it. There's nothing that has compelled me to actually like sit down and read this book, so I was like, you know what, let me get rid of it. I don't know anything about the synopsis of this book. I honestly don't want to know anything about it, and I've tried a few times to pick it up and just I'm like, no, just no. So you know, it's occupying space that I need, so it's going to a better home. Next book that I'm going to be mentioning is one that I have a few issues with, and I can do a full rant video on it, and that's Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I don't know, like for me, Casey West used to be this cute, fluffy contemporary writer, one that I really did enjoy, but the more I read from her, the more I think that's basically it's the same. And I don't know, like especially like the prime target for these books, young adults, I think that aside from it being like a cute contemporary, it should also have strong, hard-hitting topics. And this one had great topics, great themes to actually like, you know, expand a lot more on and bring these teenagers into these things that are happening in our day-to-day lives, so we can actually learn how to cope with them in situations within a YA novel, so we can actually basically eventually bring it into the real world. And I think that that basically flopped and failed, and I was just like, wow, there was this grand opportunity to cement on that and just make it a better story. And I thought that, you know, it was just basically brushed over and it really wasn't elaborated as much as it needed to. And also I honestly didn't connect with the story. I didn't enjoy the characters. I just didn't enjoy anything about it, and I was just like constantly rolling my eyes. And yeah, there's a lot of things that I can say about this book, but it's just, I honestly ended up listening to it at 2.5 times speed in order to just get through it, because like my curiosity also got the best of me. I wanted to know how the hell was it that it was gonna finish. I could have saved myself probably like 3 or 4 hours, but you know what? Apparently I'm a masochist, and you know, I wanted to hurt my soul. This next one that I'm going to be getting rid of is one that really does hurt my soul, and that's A Fierce and Subtle Poison by Samantha Maori. Just because like this takes place in Puerto Rico, but the misconception of our island is really prominent in this book, and I just couldn't get over all those details that were really just misconstrued. And I'm just like rolling my eyes because I'm here like, this could have been relevant like probably in the 60s, maybe even the 80s. Heck, I'm gonna give you probably the 90s. But like when it's situated, because it says that it takes place after a certain hurricane or tropical storm, right now I can't recall, pretty early in the 2000s. And no, these are things that just no. And obviously those are things that kind of took away from my enjoyment. It just hindered my complete experience of this story, and also the fact that people only in the metropolitan area spoke English, and then when you came to the other parts of the island, nobody spoke English. And I'm here like, I'm sorry, what are you trying to say? There are people in, you know, the metropolitan area that don't speak also English, just because, you know, this is a Spanish speaking community. Even our news is in Spanish, and when somebody speaks in English, the reporters speak over that person in Spanish. It's really rare, completely rare, when that notion is not done. And just there was a lot of other things that were just not done properly, and it took away from my enjoyment. It's also told from the story of an outsider, even though I don't mind it being told from an outsider. Just, it didn't make it feel like a good story. There were also some things that I was just not getting. There was also like sort of urban legend slash folklore, but it really wasn't from Puerto Rico, because I even asked a Spanish teacher and she was like, no, it's more Dominican related than actually Puerto Rican. And I don't know, there's just a lot of things that when I read this book, and it was a long time ago, that really did annoy me, and I didn't want to let go of it because of that, because it's set in my home island, and I was just like, I really haven't found any books that are set in Puerto Rico, and I just want to keep holding on to it. But I have found other books that are better, so I'm just gonna let this go. The next one that I'm going to be mentioning is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is, first of all, this is mass market edition. I'm not fond of mass market editions because you have to break the spine. I just ordered this and I didn't notice the size or the length, and I was just like infuriated afterwards. But I read it and I honestly did not enjoy the night circus as much as I thought I would. Like, I enjoyed the aspect of the circus as being a sentient being. That was something that really, like, you know, sucked me into the story, and also how was it that it came to be. But I honestly was expecting something completely different from what I read. Like, I was expecting these two to be thrusted into a circus and basically battling it out in order to be the last magician standing. I don't know why I got that notion. And also, I didn't feel these characters, and I don't know, there were also other characters that were introduced, and I was like, why is this person being introduced? What's the purpose? And then you actually got the purpose, and that final revelation, I was just like, I don't know, there's a lot of things that are interesting about it, but there was nothing that really gripped me into the story. And yeah, I was just like, well, that happened. The next one I'm going to be getting rid of is the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. I really wasn't gonna get rid of these because I thought that I had the second one, but I got rid of that one. I thought that this was gonna be the first and the second one, but when I, you know, basically dug in a little bit more information, there were gonna be 4 separate volumes, and I was just like, you're paying 10 bucks for every single one of them, and then when it comes out, you roughly pay around like what, probably 18 bucks. So I was like, you know what, girl, you need to chill out and wait until it comes out completely, and then just splurge on it completely. Because, like, also space, man, we need more space. And even though I really did enjoy this one, I'm just gonna wait and eventually get it when it's all together, and you know, I can read it completely instead of actually having to wait for it to be continued, because that was something that kind of just took away from my enjoyment. I was like, wait, this is to be continued. And then when I noticed the second one, it was also to be continued, I was like, this can't be happening. The next one is a series that I'm going to be getting rid of, and that is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I have many and one issues with this series. There are some books that are good, others that are okay, some that just infuriated me, especially I'm Looking at You, The Raven King. I don't know why, but this story for me just went downhill. And like, can I even tell you what the hell this is about? Probably I can. But like, I admit that I enjoyed the characters. I thought that their friendship was really solid. I don't know what the hell Blue was doing most of the time, but she was there, you know, nonetheless. There are also, like, especially in the Raven King, a lot of things that are just shed light to, and I'm here like, where did that come out of, you know? And there were a lot of things that were left unhandled, like they were not handled well. I'm sorry, but I can't even think about what I'm gonna say. And I was just like, no, I can't. There are a lot of things that really did infuriate me about this one, especially when it states that this can't be done, and all of a sudden it is done. And I have a lot of issues with this story, and I know that I'm never going to be rereading it, so I'm going to be giving this one to a friend of mine, and hopefully he will enjoy it more than I actually did. The one that I'm going to be getting rid of is If You Knew Her by Emily Elgar. This one is a DNF for me at page 176. It's a thriller, but I'm still not getting the thriller aspects of it 176 pages into the story, and I just couldn't anymore. So I was just like, you know what, I'm passing, because like I can't. The next one is one that I completely read, and that's Slayer by Kirsten White. I have an issue with Kirsten White as an author. I've tried her books. Unfortunately, I've DNF'd them. I'm also going to be speaking about another one in a few seconds. But this one is just like, this is supposed to be set in the Buffy the Vampire franchise. That, you know, that fandom, that pop culture phenomenon that a lot of us love, especially if you saw Buffy. And just like, there's a lot of hate towards Buffy in this one, and I get it. That was the plot point that was being used as the ultimate revelation to get her to do whatever the hell she needed to do. But it was just infuriating from somebody who watched Buffy, grew up on Buffy, loved it from the beginning to end, and just Buffy was such a huge motivation in her life. And actually, to read this book, it was a huge disappointment for me, and I was just like constantly rolling my eyes. There are moments that are interesting, there are more moments that are boring. Unfortunately, the moments that are boring overlap the ones that are really interesting. I just couldn't get over the fact that a lot of things that were happening, and also like the family dynamics, I just couldn't get a lot of things that were happening, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna finish it just to see how is it that it finishes. But this was a huge disappointment. I really liked the moments, and that's just a fraction of a moment where you actually see the past layers, But overall, this was a huge disappointment for me. The next one that I'm also going to be mentioning by the same author is And I Darken. This is also a DNF. I don't page 146. I just didn't feel Vlada, I think it's her name, because this is, you know, a gender swap of Vlad the Impaler. I just did not like her, and it's just like, it's more than just her cruelty, it's just her lack of personality. You know, let's just get there. I did not enjoy it because of that. I thought that the side characters, there were two side characters that I thought that were just such sweet Cinnabons, but it wasn't enough for me to actually continue. I do want to give it a second chance and actually continue it and finish it. I might, I don't know, there's probably a video that I'm going to be working on. We'll see when we see that video, but as of right now, there's nothing motivating me to actually continue with this book. The next one that I'm going to be mentioning is Daughters of Ruin by Katie Kastner. I've tried getting into this author, I just could not continue. Like, the writing style is not something that I enjoy, it's not something that I click with either. It's like this author decides to thrust a lot of information within the paragraph about the specific character. Like, she'll jot down ideas, physical traits, physical attributes, even things that that person might like, how her hair or his hair might look like, and then it just, you know, gives you these lines of information, and I'm just like, are you listing something or are you trying to write a novel? Because I don't understand. Give you an example. It says, a girl with blonde hair pulled back by a green and black sash. The colors of Findane, I hope that's how you pronounce it, climbed out first, holding her dagger in her teeth. She was athletic and nimble, as if she had experienced moving on a lurching vessel. Caddis does the same thing over and over again when describing the characters. Another one, I'm not reading the entire paragraph, but it says, the least noise as she scrambled for the forward section of the carriage. Irene. I don't understand why is it this. It says she held a dagger with two hands and whacked it at the cushioned seats for no reason. Suki. Okay, and then it continues like that, and I'm just like, no, just no. And I tried and I just couldn't. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that one. The next ones that I'm going to be getting rid of are it's a duology, and that's Dreamer and Traveler. These I got them in a book subscription box, but I have no interest in basically reading them. So yeah, I'm just gonna be getting rid of them. I think it's probably like a Peter Pan inspiration, if I'm not mistaken, or it draws influence from that. But as of right now, I've had them for more than a year, I think, and I still haven't read them. The next one is Three Dark Crowns. What I was about to say there? By Kendar Blake. I read this. I gave it around 3 something probably stars, and I was just infuriated. Like, you have no idea, especially something that happened that I was just like, this is disgusting. Why are you gonna do something like that? Why would you even do something like that? And even though, don't try and justify it for me, because I know why it was actually done. Like, I can feel why it was done, but I just do not root for it, and I do not agree with it. That one moment that happened, I was just like, are you kidding me? And also, like, I have to admit that the revelation at the end, that ultimate cliffhanger that's given, is really intriguing. But how many books are in this series, and nothing has compelled me to pick up the other books within the series. And I was like, you know what, I'm not, because I know that it's going to continue annoying me. And even though Jules, I really did love it. Was it Jules? I think it's Jules. She's a secondary character. I loved her so freaking much. And Arsenal was the one that I liked. And also Catherine. Catherine. I did love those two. Mirabella, no, I did not like her. But yeah, there are a lot of things that I had issues with, and I don't know, like, I don't want to continue because I don't want to get mad, because I just don't want to get mad. The next one is Wild Beauty by Anne-Marie McLemore. I read this one also. I don't remember if I gave it 2 or around 3 stars, but this was also something that was just, it had a slow ass pace, and there's a lot of internal monologues, so it makes the story extremely slow. And I'm here like, well, get to the point. I want to know what the hell is going to happen. And even though I have to say that, like, La Pradera as a whole, as a sentient being, is really interesting. It's something that did capture my attention. There were so many characters that were introduced that I didn't know who the hell was who, that I had to eventually write them down, because I was like, okay, I'm lost. I am lost. And I just didn't feel anything. There was probably going to be a female on female romance, and honestly, I don't know how they were gonna do it, but it was just I really wanted more from it. I don't even know what I'm gonna say right now, but I think the one reason that I've held on to this book is because the cover is beautiful. Look at that cover. That cover is gorgeous, but just it's time to get rid of it, people. It's time to get rid of it. The next that I'm going to be getting rid of is roughly around a series. This is the Amulet books. I have books 1, 2, 3 and 7. I showed you 7 right now. But I really did enjoy these stories, but I don't feel like I'm going to be getting 4 through 6 because I did pay for these 3, and this one I'm pretty sure was gifted to me. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna read them again. I'm basically tentative on these, but if somebody wants them, I'll give them to them, so you know that person can actually enjoy the stories, because they are really good. They're ones that I really do enjoy. This one is another one that I'm going to be getting rid of, is The Rabbit in Red, the complete trilogy. This one I got it in the first ever book subscription box that actually let me represent them on Bookstagram, but I don't read horror. So yeah. I'm also sick, so you know, I apologize, but yeah, I'm never gonna read this. So I was like, you know what, let's get rid of it, because I tried and I was just like, this is not for me. Okay, so that's it for this video. Those are all the books that I'm going to be getting rid of. I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful day and or night, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace. Ay, tú estás uno viejito, tú estás hecho uno viejito. Ay, qué calor está haciendo. ¿Por qué diablo hace tanta calor? A lo mejor porque tú vives en una isla tropical. Fudge, man.